So I want to talk about that ammo, how it hit him. Because they were trying to make it seem like it came from the roof. That kind of ammo going through a neck. It should have went through and came out the other side. And then upon exit, there should have been spray. There were people that were sitting behind him. Did they catch anybody with, blood on them? Did we see anybody around him with blood?
Charlie Kirk's widow has just been thrust into the eye of a storm so explosive that even the loudest, most scandal-filled controversies of the past decade pale in comparison. And the person lighting the match, none other than Jaguar Wright, the infamous truth-teller of the music industry. The woman who has made a career out of tearing open locked doors and dragging buried secrets into the daylight. But this time, the target isn't just another washed-up singer or industry executive. This time, Jaguar is coming after the widow of one of the most polarizing political figures of our time. From the very first second Jaguar went live, the energy in the air shifted. Her eyes burned with fury, her voice cracked with a mixture of rage and triumph, and her words cut sharper than any blade. Y'all have no idea what she's been hiding. You worshipped Charlie like a god, but you don't even know the devil that was laying right next to him. That one sentence was enough to stop the internet cold within minutes. Jaguar's live stream was trending across every platform: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, even obscure message boards where conspiracy theorists live and breathe. The hashtags #KirkWidowExposed and #JaguarBombshell shot straight to #1 worldwide. Viewers who tuned in expecting another dramatic rant found themselves watching what felt like a digital trial, one where Jaguar positioned herself as both prosecutor and executioner. She claimed she had proof receipts, recordings, private conversations that would rip apart the carefully constructed image of Charlie's grieving widow. And she didn't just hint at betrayal. She promised deception, corruption, and something darker: an entire empire of lies that the widow had allegedly built behind her late husband's back. The comment section exploded in real time. Thousands of usernames flying past the screen, typing variations of the same horrified questions. What does she mean? Is Jaguar really saying the widow was playing him this whole time? If this is true, everything we thought we knew about Charlie is a lie. But Jaguar didn't spill it all at once. She was deliberate, cruelly strategic, flashing screenshots too quickly for viewers to screenshot, pausing just long enough to let her cryptic hints ferment into panic. "This ain't just about politics," she whispered at one point. "This is about blood money, betrayal, and power grabs so dirty y'all wouldn't believe it even if I showed you the whole thing right now." People begged in the comments, "Show the receipts." Jaguar dropped the files already. Don't tease, expose her. But Jaguar, ever the master of suspense, knew exactly what she was doing. She let the tension build like a horror movie. Every few seconds, she leaned forward, looked straight into the camera, and repeated, "Y'all don't even know half of it." Meanwhile, the internet outside of her stream was already in chaos. Within an hour, Twitter threads popped up dissecting the widow's past appearances, charity events, and cryptic statements she had made since Charlie's passing. Clips of her smiling during interviews suddenly looked suspicious. Old photographs were reanalyzed like crime scene evidence. Entire Reddit forums began piecing together timelines of her activities, trying to connect dots no one had dared to connect before Jaguar's words. And then came the bomb. Jaguar dropped not evidence yet, but a promise that froze viewers in their seats. Charlie's widow ain't the victim. She's the architect. And if y'all knew what really went down the last year of his life, you'd never say his name the same way again. The chat went silent for a moment, a rare pause in the non-stop storm of comments. People couldn't believe what they were hearing. One user typed, "Are you saying what I think you're saying?" Another begged, "Jaguar, don't play with SR. You implying she had something to do with his downfall?" Jaguar didn't answer directly. She just leaned back, smirked, and said, "All I'll say is this. You ever wonder why certain things didn't add up? Why some people vanished? Why she's still moving like a queen while Charlie's gone? Keep watching. I'll make it all clear." At that exact moment, TikTok lit up with clips of her stream, edited into dramatic montages with ominous music. Creators screamed into their cameras, swearing they always knew the widow was shady. Others swore Jaguar was finally crossing the line into slander. But the one thing no one could deny, everyone was watching. Everyone was hooked. Even celebrities started chiming in mid-live stream. A rapper tweeted, "Jaguar ain't never lied before. Y'all better listen." Meanwhile, a conservative talk show host fired back. "This is beyond disgusting. A grieving woman doesn't deserve to be attacked like this." The polarization only added more fuel to the fire. But here's the part that really set people off. Jaguar claimed she wasn't doing this for clout. She swore she was risking her own safety by speaking out. "They already tried to shut me up once," she declared, eyes darting like she was checking for intruders. "But they can't kill the truth. And the truth is, his widow ain't what you think she is. She's worse." By then, the live stream had surpassed 100,000 viewers. The widow's name was splattered across every trending page on the internet. And Jaguar ended her session with one last sinister tease. "If y'all think tonight was wild, wait until I show you what's really on those tapes. The world ain't ready." The screen went black. The stream ended. And the internet went feral. Speculation roared louder than ever. Did Jaguar just accuse Charlie's widow of betrayal? Was she hinting at something darker, that the widow may have engineered his downfall? And if tapes exist, what could possibly be on them that Jaguar is so terrified yet determined to reveal? The hook was set. The world was watching. And the question that no one could stop asking was, what comes next? Charlie Kirk's story was never one of smooth sailing. It was always storms, fire, and controversy. But to understand why Jaguar Wright's allegations about his widow are so earth-shattering, we need to rewind and step deep into the background, the history, the legacy, and the hidden cracks that were always there, waiting to burst open. Charlie rose to power like a lightning bolt across the sky. He wasn't born into politics, but he mastered the art of spectacle. His speeches drew roaring crowds, his sound bites dominated social media. And his critics hated him with a passion that only fueled his fan base more. He thrived in chaos, building an empire out of outrage, loyalty, and endless attention. But behind that empire, behind the cameras, the lights, and the carefully constructed rallies was a woman whom many underestimated. His wife, the woman who is now the focus of Jaguar Wright's wrath. From the beginning, insiders whispered that Charlie's wife was no ordinary partner. She wasn't content to sit in the background smiling politely. She was calculating, ambitious, and, as one alleged former staffer put it, the strategist in stilettos. Charlie was the fire on stage, but she was the one pulling strings off stage. She decided who got access, who got silenced, and which deals were worth risking. Even those who admired Charlie admitted that his wife had an aura of quiet power. She was always in the shadows, but her presence was heavy. Another alleged insider recalled, "When she walked into a room, you knew decisions were going to be made. Charlie talked big, but she made the moves." But with power came enemies. Rumors swirled for years about marital, tension-heated arguments overheard during campaign tours. Last-minute cancellations of events after dramatic behind-the-scenes fights. Even staffers quitting suddenly under mysterious circumstances. And through it all, Charlie's wife remained polished, smiling for cameras while whispers spread behind her back. What many didn't know was that while Charlie was busy making enemies on stage, his wife was quietly building connections with some of those very same enemies behind closed doors. At least, that's what Jaguar Wright is now alleging. According to her, the widow's role in Charlie's career was far from supportive, was manipulative. She allegedly forged deals, alliances, and agreements that Charlie himself never would have tolerated. If he had known, Jaguar's claims hit harder when you look at the timeline. In the final years of Charlie's life, his influence skyrocketed, but so did the controversies. He was banned from platforms, smeared by opponents, and even his allies grew restless with his unpredictable energy. Yet, curiously, resources always appeared at just the right time: funding, airtime, protection from lawsuits. Some began to wonder, where was all this stability coming from? Was it luck? Or was someone orchestrating it all behind the curtain? That's where the widow comes in. Jaguar insists she was the mastermind, the silent architect who leveraged her husband's fiery persona while secretly building her own empire. Charlie thought he was the general. Jaguar hissed in one live stream, but he was just the soldier. The real general was lying in bed next to him. The more you dig into her post-Charlie behavior, the more chilling the picture becomes. While many expected her to retreat into grief, she did the opposite. She grew louder, more visible. She spoke at events with a commanding presence, almost as if she had been preparing for this role long before his death. It was eerie. One commentator wrote, "She didn't look broken, she looked ready." And then there were the donations. Reports showed mysterious funds flowing through PACs linked to her, with amounts that raised eyebrows even among seasoned political insiders. When journalists tried to trace the money, they hit walls of shell companies and dead ends. For months, no one questioned it too deeply. But now, with Jaguar's accusations, those donations are being re-examined like smoking guns. Fans began piecing together old footage, creating viral TikToks that compared her public statements before and after Charlie's death. The change was striking. In earlier years, she spoke softly, almost deferentially, always in her husband's shadow. But after his passing, her tone hardened, commanding, confident, sharp-edged. It's almost like she was waiting for her moment. One viral post read, "And the second he was gone." She stepped into his shoes like they were already broken in. Conspiracy threads went wild. Was Charlie's downfall accidental, or was it part of a plan? Did the widow simply seize the moment, or was she playing a long game from the very start? And how much of Charlie's empire had really been his to begin with? Jaguar, for her part, added gasoline to the fire with cryptic statements. She claimed she had recordings, texts, and emails that proved Charlie's widow wasn't just opportunistic, she was complicit in something far darker. "Y'all keep saying she's grieving." Grieving? Jaguar scoffed. "No, baby. She's plotting. She's been plotting. And when I show y'all what I've got, you'll never look at her the same again." The internet was hooked, torn between disbelief and obsession. Some fans swore Jaguar was lying, fabricating drama for attention. Others argued her track record spoke for itself. Jaguar had exposed powerful names before, and many of her wildest claims had eventually proven true. But the scariest part, as Jaguar hinted at her next revelation, the widow herself stayed silent. No statements, no denials, just eerie, calculated silence. That silence, more than anything, drove the internet insane. Because if the allegations were false, why not fight back? Why not sue? Why not demand retractions? One journalist tweeted, "Her silence is either strategy or confession." And then, just as the background picture seemed complete, Jaguar dropped her first piece of evidence. Wasn't the full bombshell yet, but it was enough to send shockwaves. Alleged private messages, whispered conversations about money, about influence, about keeping Charlie under control. The foundation had been laid. The stage was set. And as the internet screamed for answers, Jaguar promised the first real twist was coming. And when it came, it wouldn't just shock the world, it would make people question everything they thought they knew about Charlie Kirk's legacy. And the woman who survived him, the night of the first twist, is now burned into internet History a digital shockwave that turned whispers into screams and speculation into hysteria. Jaguar Wright, who had been baiting her audience for days with fragments of promises, finally decided to pull the curtain back. And what she revealed about Charlie Kirk's widow wasn't just a scandalette, was a betrayal so devastating it shattered the carefully protected image she had spent years building. Jaguar began her live stream with a slow, unsettling calm. No shouting, no theatrics, just a chilling smile and a stack of papers in her hand. Y'all wanted receipts? Well, I've got them. And after tonight, you're never going to look at Charlie Kirk's widow the same way again. Her words felt like a dagger twisted into the chest of every viewer. She started by projecting alleged emails onto the screen. They weren't vague hints or cryptic lines. Views were detailed exchanges between the widow and a powerful media executive known for his long-standing battles with Charlie. The subject lines alone were enough to send viewers into shock, securing our position, future without him, and damage control plan. But it was the contents of those emails that sent the internet into meltdown. One line, allegedly written by the widow herself. Read, "He doesn't understand that this movement was never about him, was always about the network. If I have to cut him out to save the plan, I will." The comments section exploded. Cut him out. Cut him out. Oh my God. She was planning it all along. Jaguar, drop the whole email. Don't just tease us. Jaguar flipped to the next slightest set of financial transactions. Large sums of money quietly transferred from anonymous shell companies to PACs connected to the widow. The timing was damning. Every transfer coincided with one of Charlie's most public controversies, as if his chaos was being carefully managed and manipulated from the inside. Y'all think his enemies wanted him silenced? Jaguar hissed. No. The truth is, the closest person to him was the one making sure he never got too powerful. She was the leash around his neck. And then, Jaguar dropped the real bomb, a series of alleged text messages between the widow and a confidant. In one, the widow supposedly wrote, "Charlie is spiraling. If he keeps this up, the donors will walk. I can't let him destroy everything we've built. Sometimes I wish he would just disappear." The chat froze. Thousands of viewers gasped simultaneously, the sound of disbelief echoing across TikTok lives, Twitter threads, and Instagram reposts. People scrambled to screenshot before Jaguar scrolled away. The words "I wish he would just disappear" began trending within minutes. Theories went into overdrive. Was this proof of betrayal? Was she merely venting frustration? Or was Jaguar hinting at something much darker, that Charlie's downfall was no accident? And then, just as viewers thought they had seen the worst, Jaguar leaned into the camera and whispered, "You think I'm exaggerating? Y'all don't even know the half of it. Because what if I told you that she wasn't grieving when he died, she was celebrating?" The internet lost its mind. Twitter threads multiplied by the second. One viral tweet read, "Jaguar Wright just implied Charlie's widow cheered his death. If that's true, this is the biggest betrayal in political history." Another user posted, "I defended her for months, but this is too much." Those texts sound real. She's guilty. But the twist wasn't over. Jaguar ended her stream by showing a blurry, grainy video clip allegedly taken inside a luxury hotel ballroom. In the clip, a woman resembling the widow is seen laughing and clinking glasses with two powerful figures the night after Charlie's passing. The audio was muffled, but one chilling line could be heard. "Now it begins." Viewers sat in stunned silence. Was this real? Was it edited? Or was it the smoking gun? And just like that, the video disappeared. The account that first uploaded it was wiped clean within hours, fueling even more conspiracy theories. Some claimed the clip was authentic and quickly covered up. Others swore it was deepfake propaganda. But either way, the damage was done. The seed of doubt had been planted, and it was growing like wildfire by the end of that night. Hashtags like #widowbetrayal, #disappeartext, and #now it begins dominated every trending chart. Journalists began cautiously circling the story. while fans launched their own investigations, analyzing body language, cross-referencing travel records, even digging up old interviews where the widow looked too composed. For someone supposedly grieving. The internet wasn't just curious anymore, it was enraged. But here's where the story took its darkest turn yet. Because hours after the live stream, an anonymous account claiming to be a former insider posted a message that made the world's blood run cold. If you think this is about money, you're wrong. If you think it's about power, you're still not seeing the truth. There's a reason Charlie went down so fast. And if the widow's secrets come out, you'll realize his death wasn't just tragic, it was inevitable. His death wasn't just tragic, it was inevitable. The post vanished within minutes, but screenshots spread like wildfire, leaving millions of viewers staring at their screens, sick to their stomachs. And now, the question tearing the internet apart is this: was Charlie Kirk's widow a grieving partner, or the architect of his downfall? The first twist was here, but the next revelation would make everything we just heard feel like a warm-up. Because what Jaguar Wright was about to expose next wouldn't just involve Charlie's widow. It would drag an entire industry into the fire. The escalation began like a crack in a dam, one that widened, deepened, and then burst open in a torrent of revelations that no one saw coming. The first twist had already shaken the foundation of Charlie Kirk's legacy. But what Jaguar Wright unleashed next wasn't just a scandal. It was an earthquake. Jaguar returned. Her live stream announced just hours before with the cryptic caption, "Phase 2, they can't stop me now." Within minutes, tens of thousands flooded into the stream. Twitter exploded with countdowns. TikTok creators went live to react in real time. And hashtags like #Jaguar Phase 2 and #WidowFiles shot to the top of the trending charts before Jaguar even spoke a word. When she finally appeared on screen, the energy was electric. Her face was serious, her tone deliberate. "The last time I came on here, people said I was exaggerating. People said I was reaching. Well, tonight, I brought proof. And when y'all hear this, you'll never look at politics, entertainment, or Charlie's widow the same way again." And then she pressed play on what she claimed were leaked voice recordings. The first clip was grainy, muffled, but the voice was unmistakably similar to Charlie's widow. She could be heard whispering, "I don't care what it takes. Just make sure it's done. He can't know. If he finds out, everything we've built will collapse." The chat erupted. "Oh my God, did she just say that? What needs to be done? Done." Jaguar's not lying. "This sounds real." Jaguar didn't stop there. She played a second clip, allegedly capturing a heated argument between the widow and a close ally. The widow's voice thundered, "You think I won't sacrifice him for this? Watch me. This is bigger than Charlie." The internet collectively gasped. For days afterward, that one line, "This is bigger than Charlie," was quoted in every meme, every tweet, every late-night podcast dissecting the scandal. But Jaguar wasn't finished. She leaned into the camera, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Y'all still think this is just a grieving woman? No, this is an empire builder. And she ain't building it alone." That's when she pulled out her second bombshell, alleged bank documents, linking the widow to a list of shell companies that had ties not just to political donors, but to major Hollywood studios, record labels, and media conglomerates. Jaguar claimed the widow wasn't just surviving after Charlie's death, she was thriving, positioning herself at the crossroads of politics and entertainment, consolidating power in ways that no one had predicted. This ain't just about Charlie Kirk, Jaguar spat. This is about an entire industry being bought and sold. And his widow, she's the one doing the selling. The reaction was instant and volcanic. Twitter threads dissected the bank documents line by line. TikTok creators staged dramatic reenactments of the leaked recordings. Reddit forums exploded with theories that the widow was connected to a secret shadow alliance of political and entertainment power players. Even celebrities couldn't resist weighing in. A pop singer tweeted, "Jaguar's telling the truth. Y'all just don't want to hear it." A retired politician clapped back, This is character assassination. Plain and simple. The industry was divided, and that division only made the scandal burn hotter. But then came the reveal no one saw coming, the third bombshell. Jaguar showed a blurry, grainy photo of what she claimed was a secret meeting between the widow and two of Charlie's most notorious enemies. The photo appeared to be taken in a luxury hotel suite, the widow smiling, drink in hand. Jaguar claimed it was from just weeks before Charlie's health began to decline. The implications were chilling. Was she conspiring with his rivals? Was this photo proof that she had betrayed him, not just emotionally, but strategically? And if that wasn't enough, Jaguar ended the stream with one last cryptic warning. The widow's web doesn't stop here. Next time, I'll show you the names. Big names. Names you all know. And when you hear who's been standing beside her this whole time, the entire industry will collapse. The internet erupted into full-scale hysteria. Twitter hashtags like #This is bigger than Charlie, #WidowWeb, and #Jaguar Receipts dominated. News outlets reluctantly began covering the story, using cautious language like unverified allegations, but still fueling the fire by broadcasting clips of Jaguar's live stream. The widow's silence grew more deafening by the day. Each hour without a response only made people more suspicious. Was she preparing a lawsuit? Or was she scrambling to contain the firestorm before it consumed her completely? But the real cliffhanger wasn't about her silence. It was about Jaguar's final promise, a list of names. And if that list ever comes out, it won't just ruin one widow, it could burn down everything around her. The internet didn't just react, it combusted. What Jaguar Wright unleashed had already turned Charlie Kirk's widow into one of the most talked about women in America. But the public response, the memes, the think pieces, the celebrity comments, and the industry chatter transformed the scandal into something far bigger than one woman's alleged betrayal. This had now become a cultural earthquake. Twitter was the first battleground. Within hours, hashtags like #WidowExposed, #BiggerThanCharlie, and #JaguarReceipts had racked up millions of posts. The platform was a feeding frenzy of theories, rage, and paranoia. One viral thread, with over 200,000 retweets, listed every suspicious moment from the widow's past. Her odd composure during interviews, her sudden rise in influence after Charlie's death, the unexplained money trails. She's been hiding in plain sight, the author concluded, sending fans spiraling into deeper rabbit holes. But the divide was immediate. On one side, Jaguar supporters who swore she was telling nothing but the truth. On the other, defenders of the widow accusing Jaguar of exploiting grief for views. The arguments were vicious. Jaguar Wright has never missed. Y'all better wake up. This is disgusting. Attacking a widow. Y'all should be ashamed. Oh, you don't understand. This isn't slander. This is survival. Jaguar is risking her life to speak up. TikTok became the stage for chaos. Creators flooded the app with dramatic reenactments of the alleged emails and texts. Some of them dressed up as the widow, others playing Jaguar, delivering lines with over-the-top music and sound effects. The line "This is bigger than Charlie" became an audio trend, used in everything from serious conspiracy videos to parody skits. Even those who didn't follow politics knew the phrase. It had become a meme overnight. Instagram was no different. Influencers posted long captions analyzing the widow's body language in old clips, drawing arrows on screenshots to highlight hidden smirks or secret signals. Conspiracy pages shared diagrams mapping out alleged connections between the widow, Hollywood producers, and political figures. One viral post showed her standing beside a celebrity at a charity gala with the caption, "Coincidence? Or is this the alliance Jaguar is warning us about?" And then, the news outlets joined the fray. Morning shows debated the scandal with panels split between sympathy and suspicion. Conservative hosts accused Jaguar of destroying a grieving family for clout, while progressive commentators argued that if the widow had skeletons in her closet, they deserved to be revealed. One headline screamed, "Charlie's widow under fire, smear campaign, or shocking truth." But the reactions didn't stop with the public. The entertainment industry itself began to fracture. A well-known rapper went live on Instagram, claiming he had once seen the widow at a private event with people she wasn't supposed to be with. A B-list actor tweeted, "Everyone laughing now, but y'all don't know the half of it. Jaguar's not lying." Meanwhile, a political commentator with millions of followers insisted the entire scandal was a PSOP, tweeting, "This isn't about truth. This is about taking down a movement." Fans of Charlie Kirk were devastated. Online forums where his supporters once rallied in unity now exploded with infighting. Some insisted the widow was being framed by enemies of Charlie's legacy, while others reluctantly admitted that the allegations might hold weight. One heartbreaking post on Reddit read, "If Jaguar's right, then everything Charlie stood for was a lie. The person we trusted the most was the one pulling the strings." Even casual fans got swept into the frenzy. People who had never cared about politics were now glued to every update, making reaction videos, debating theories on podcasts, and even hosting live Twitter spaces titled, "Did Charlie's Widow Betray Him?" The scandal had transcended politics and become entertainment in its own right, a real-life soap K-opera unfolding in front of millions. But perhaps the most chilling reaction came from inside the industry. Anonymous insiders began feeding tabloids with their own stories. One claimed the widow had been holding secret meetings with executives months before Charlie's health began to decline. Another whispered about a vault of unreleased footage that, if leaked, would end her for good. Each leak only fueled the fire further, making the widow look less like a victim and more like the villain of a carefully written drama. And through all of it, the widow herself stayed silent. No press conferences, no interviews, just vague, cryptic Instagram posts, Bible verses, black and white photos, captions like "the truth will always prevail." But instead of calming the public, these posts only stirred the pot, sparking debates over whether they were subtle confessions or desperate attempts at control. The public wasn't just reacting anymore. They were demanding answers. Petition campaigns started circulating, calling for investigations. Hashtags like #WhereAreTheReceipts and #TruthOrLie pushed pressure onto the widow's camp. People were no longer satisfied with speculation. They wanted hard proof, one way or the other. And as Jaguar's promise of big names loomed in the air, the world waited in breathless anticipation. Because if what she had already revealed caused this much chaos, what would happen when those names dropped? Would the entire industry collapse under the weight of betrayal? Or would the widow finally come forward swinging, unleashing her own bombshells in retaliation? The public's reaction had turned a scandal into a war. But the war wasn't over. In fact, it was only about to get bloodier. Just when the scandal seemed like it couldn't get any darker, any more twisted, any more out of control, the final twist detonated like a bomb no one saw coming. The drama that began with whispers about Charlie Kirk's widow had escalated into leaks, recordings, and industry-wide chaos. But what came next pushed the narrative from shocking scandal to absolute nightmare. It started quietly. A brand new anonymous account appeared on X Twitter using the handle @truthenscl'd. The profile had no picture, no followers, nothing until its first post. Jaguar Wright told you part of the story. Tonight, I'll give you the rest. The widow isn't working alone. Within seconds, the post went viral. Millions of views, thousands of retweets, fans screaming in disbelief. Could this be real? Was Jaguar not the only one with insider information? Then the account posted a PDF, files dozens of pages long, allegedly containing transcripts of secret meetings. And in those transcripts, the widow wasn't just portrayed as a schemer or a betrayer. She was painted as a mastermind, orchestrating alliances with not one, but several household names in politics and entertainment. The most damning line from the documents came from a supposed conversation. "Charlie's done. He's served his purpose. From here, it's my turn, and I'm not doing it alone." The machine is already in place. The internet exploded. Screenshots of the file flooded timelines. Fans began cross-referencing names, dates, and locations, creating sprawling digital maps of alleged connections. Podcasts immediately went live, breaking down the transcript line by line. One host shouted into his mic, "This isn't a conspiracy theory anymore, this is the blueprint of a coup." And his widow was at the center of it. Jaguar herself jumped into the chaos, quote-tweeting the anonymous account with one word: boom. That single post cemented it. Jaguar was validating the leaks. But then came the video, hours after the transcripts dropped. @Truth Unsealed posted a blurry, shaky clip allegedly filmed at a private retreat in the mountains. In the footage, a group of high-profile figures sat around a table, glasses raised in a toast. And at the center of it all, a woman unmistakably resembling Charlie's widow. Her voice clear as day. "Here's to new beginnings and to leaving the past behind." The world lost its collective mind. "This is the proof." She said it. She admitted it. "No way this is real. It has to be fake." Jaguar Wright was right from the beginning. Mainstream media could no longer ignore it. Primetime anchors debated whether the video was authentic or a deepfake. Experts were brought in to analyze voice patterns, facial recognition, background noise. Some swore it was real, others dismissed it as AI manipulation. But by then, the damage was irreversible. The widow had become the face of a global scandal. And yet, the widow herself finally broke her silence. In a sudden midnight post on Instagram, she uploaded a single black and white video. Her face was pale, her voice calm, but unnerving. "You think you know the truth? You've seen fragments, lies, and illusions. But the real story hasn't even begun. When it does, the world will regret pushing me this far." Then, without another word, the screen went black. That chilling message threw gasoline onto the fire. Was it a denial? A confession? A threat? Fans dissected every second of her tone, her eyes, her pauses. Some argued she looked terrified. Others claimed she looked defiant, ready for war. And then came the most disturbing rumor of all: that there were sealed legal files connected to Charlie's death. Files that could reveal details too explosive to ever see daylight. Conspiracy theorists swore the widow was fighting to keep those files hidden, while Jaguar and her supporters were desperately trying to pry them open. The phrase "sealed files" became the new obsession, trending globally with people demanding, "What are they hiding?" The scandal was no longer just about betrayal. It had become a ticking time bomb, a cliffhanger with the power to bring down not just one woman, but entire institutions. And as Jaguar Wright herself teased in her final live stream of the week, "This ain't over. The widow's next move is coming, and trust me, it's going to be uglier than anything you've seen so far." The screen went dark. The audience was left in silence. And the only thing louder than the questions was the dread of what comes next. And now, after everything we've uncovered, the leaks, the texts, the emails, the recordings, the alleged video of Charlie Kirk's widow clinking glasses with his enemy's ware left with more questions than answers. The internet is divided. The industry is split. And Jaguar Wright has promised that what we've seen so far is only the beginning. But here's where you come in. Because this story isn't just going to live and die in the hands of Jaguar Wright or anonymous whistleblowers. It's going to live in the court of public opinion. And that court is you. Do you believe Jaguar Wright? Do you think the receipts, the messages, the videos are real lore? Is this a carefully crafted smear campaign against a woman who has already lost her husband? Was Charlie Kirk betrayed by the very person he trusted the most? Or is Jaguar using his widow as her latest target in a long string of sensational exposes? Some of you are convinced she's guilty, that the widow orchestrated every move like a puppet master, waiting for her moment to seize power. Others argue she's a grieving woman under attack, being painted as a villain because silence is easier than feeding the fire. But the truth is still dangling in front of us, and every day new pieces drop that change the story again. That's why I want to hear from you. Drop your theories in the comments below. Do you think Charlie's widow is the mastermind Jaguar claims she is? Or is Jaguar the one manipulating us all? And most importantly, what do you think is hidden in those sealed files everyone's whispering about? Smash that like button if you want Jaguar to finally drop the full list of names. Share this video with your friends so they can see just how deep this rabbit hole goes. And don't forget to subscribe because this story isn't ending tonight. No, if Jaguar is telling the truth, then the real bombshells haven't even dropped yet. The next episode will dive into the aftermath of Backlash, the possible lawsuits, and the whispers that the widow herself may be preparing her own counterattack. Trust me when I say this, the fireworks haven't even started. This isn't just a scandal. This is history in the making, and you won't want to miss what comes next. You won't want to miss what comes next.